Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Last Laugh podcast.
Join your favorite local comedian, Budweiser Poppy, every week as he discusses current events, music, food, Zaza, and more. And yes, I am Elon Musk, and I did approve this message.
AJ handpicked each celebrity for this intro and paid us vast sums of money, so please like and subscribe to his channel and check out ajdeleoncomedy.com for show updates.
Now, without further ado, your host and everyone's favorite fatty makes some fucking noise for AJ DeLeon.
What is up, Last Laugh family? I'm here at a new location today. As you guys can see, we're actually here at High Desert Relief over in Bernalillo at their new location. They also sponsor the podcast and do all that good stuff. So today we got a very special guest. He is the master grower. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, director of cultivation.
Director of, that sounds way better than master grower. Director of cultivation for High Desert Relief. We just actually smoked weed outside, and I asked him this right before we started. His name is Daniel, but what is your last name again, man?
Landavazo. It's a tough last name.
Yes, Daniel Landavazo, the director of cultivation over at High Desert Relief. We got him in-house today, and we just want to bring, I'm not going to say awareness because then it sounds like a fucking disease, but bring more eyes and ears and information, put it out there for how weed, I guess cannabis, we won't fucking be degenerates. Cannabis is cultivated in Albuquerque, New Mexico in general. You guys, High Desert you guys have been growing for how long now? How long has the grow been open?
So I think officially it's been going for 13 years now.
13 years.
Something like that. Or no, 14. It was in 2010.
Okay, 2010. Oh, yeah, it's on the bags.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And how long have you been with them?
I've been with them for 8 or 9 years now, something like that.
Hell
Been running the grows for 4 or 5 years.
Okay,
my years,
4 or
yeah.
5 years. Hell yeah, out of the, you said 8 that you've been there.
Yeah.
So let's just take it back from the start, I guess, whenever you want to start in your life. How did what happened to get here? Let's learn about you.
Oh, I started growing really, really young. My mom's like a bit of a hippie.
Okay,
and yeah, I was probably like 6th or 7th grade, something like that. I was smoking like crazy, and I would use like yard work money to buy all of my weed.
Okay.
And my mom gave me shit for it and was like, you spend a lot of money on weed, you should start growing it. And it just like sent a light bulb in my head, and I was just like, no way. Wait, what? I can grow this stuff? And yeah, took some swag seeds out of the brick bag that I had bought and just
broke the brick down.
Like, normal incandescent bulbs in my closet, put like aluminum foil on the walls. Like, had no idea what I was doing.
Sure.
We didn't even have internet. Like, we were poor. So like it was, no internet to look up like how to do it. No idea what the hell I was doing. But I started growing, and the first like 3 crops that I did, the first one was either herm or males. Looking back on it now.
For sure.
I had no idea. But I would just go in after school, turn on and off the lights at random times, like no rhyme or reason. And then eventually got a book. It's by Jorge Cervantes,
Okay.
the Cannabis Growers Bible.
Cannabis Growers Bible.
That one
Look that
was
up.
the main like jump off point for me, where I actually started to get some structure to it and started actually like, learning that this plant has photoperiod.
For sure.
Learning just the basics of it. And then I started actually growing and never stopped. Grew indoor in soil for probably like the first like 5-ish years that I grew,
Okay.
and then went over into growing outdoor and did that for probably like 5-ish years.
Okay.
And then started working at High Desert, stopped growing on my own. Got official.
For
was
sure,
like, all right,
for
I need
sure.
to stop that.
Yeah.
No more. And then just started growing here and just when I first got in, it was all hydro in like a Dutch bucket system, which is
Dutch
kind of
buckets,
old
for
school.
sure.
It was all like, puffed glass, like this gross.
Yeah.
We used to use canna. It was canna food that we put into it. Expensive as all hell.
Can of food.
Yeah, it's super expensive. But yeah, eventually then we went over to the new grow that's now it's still in Albuquerque, but now we use rock wool.
Okay.
It's Grodan 6x6 rock wool cubes. We feed Athena. It is amazing stuff.
For
It is
sure, that's what I hear.
ridiculously simple.
That's what I hear most people use is Athena
Yeah.
as their nutrients.
Honestly, they did a really smart thing. They were started by growers who were tired of just getting sold a bunch of expensive toad oil, like
For
getting
sure.
sold these 12-part products that they look through the ingredients and like half of them are redundant, half of them are in all of the parts of the nutrient program, and they're like, okay, so I could cut out this ingredient from all these products, make it way cheaper, and they also put it together into a simple, just a few part system. That way for growers, they could just easily implement this stuff and it's not super hard. Athena.
So shout out
kicks ass.
Athena.
Shout out
Yeah,
Athena.
shout out
Big
Athena.
shout out to Athena.
That's my
yeah.
dog's name. Shout
Sick.
out. Yeah. She would probably ruin weed, but she's a crazy dog, dude. A little red healer mix. So
Oh,
she goes crazy.
dude, the healers are good mixes.
Hell yeah.
They're insane. My brother used to have a blue healer named Resin. It
That's
was an asshole.
hilarious. Resin. I love that. Okay, so you went from outdoor to working at HDR to
Mhm.
going legit. Back to before that was that in Albuquerque?
No, it was in Los Lunas. I grew up in
Los Lunas. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
My mom's from Los Lunas. I know a few people. Shout out
Sick.
to Los. Meadow Lake. I'm
yeah,
just-
it
Really?
was Meadow Lake is where
Okay.
I grew up, and then now I live in Tomei.
Okay, for
Yeah.
sure. Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. Tomei's dope. I
Yeah.
used to be part of the Catholic cult, and I walked up that hill barefoot, dude, when I was
Dude.
like 6 years old, bro. How
Oh.
crazy is that?
That's dope.
I was like, I want to be like Jesus. No tetanus shot, nothing, dude. Just walking up that hill, bro.
Just risking it all.
Literally,
Just hucking
literally,
it.
dude.
Oh, dude.
no,
My
shout out-
great grandpa put the crosses on that hill.
Okay, hell yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out to your great grandpa, bro.
Small world,
He
man.
wasn't part of a cult. That's just
No,
that's
he
me
might have
talking
been. You never
right?
know.
Okay,
You never
yeah.
know. Those old Spanish people were crazy.
You're building crosses and putting them on top of a hill. You might be.
You might be a little culty.
That's hilarious. Okay, so Los Lunas definitely sounds like Los Lunas activities. 6-year-old or sixth grader growing weed.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, bro. I mean, look where you're at now.
Exactly.
Look where the fuck
Like,
you're at.
most people would talk mad crap to a parent
For
for
sure.
letting their kid start
100%.
that, but honestly, it's the best call that
For
could
sure, it turned into what you're doing for a living. So
Yep, turn into a passion.
yes, that's awesome. I remember I've tried to grow weed 2 times in my life. And the first time I was probably in high school, grew, I want to say maybe a foot tall plant, maybe 2 feet, and I got like a quad off of it. And
It's not bad.
well, then I thought I knew I was doing when I cured it, and it did not get you one bit high at all. Like it was,
Just hyper dry.
dude.
The
It
crap
looked
out of
it looked so good when I cut it off the plant at first and stuff. Like when I pulled it, and then by the time it was like done drying, it was brown and ugly.
just shriveled down to nothing. Looks
It's
like tumbleweed.
Yeah, SpongeBob in that episode when he needed water. Or that's the movie, huh?
Oh,
Dude.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then the second time was like 2 years ago. Me and my girlfriend decided we got some good seeds. Someone random was like, "Yo, here's these seeds." I think they were like seed junkie seeds too, or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna pop them." We put like 4 or 5 plants, and we were gonna essentially do. I guess you can't call it depths, but what would you call it? Just putting a plant in a window, letting it get normal, like in the windowsill, letting it get normal light cycle, watering it, no nutrients. That's what we did. And
Just terrace grow.
okay,
Yeah, terrace growing. Yeah.
and it fucked up. All of a sudden, like they were doing really good. They were getting tall, like almost to the roof tall.
Yeah.
They're getting flowers on them, and then dude, spider mites
Oh.
just took over them.
Oh.
My girlfriend was,
skin crawl.
dude, she was so sad. Those are her little babies.
Oh,
dude.
dude, yeah, it's crushing. It's crushing.
Yeah. So how do you guys deal with at the main grow? How do you guys deal with pests and stuff?
Pests and everything.
Do you guys do beneficials? What do you guys do?
No, we don't do beneficials. A lot of people really like beneficials, but I'm of the frame of mind of bugs attract bugs.
Exactly.
For
sure.
You shouldn't have anything in there for them to be eating to survive long enough to really be there.
For
And then
sure.
also in Rockwool, it's really hard to even just kind of have beneficials stay around. So
Yeah,
we don't
for
do any
sure.
beneficials. One of the main products we use is Athena's IPM spray.
Okay.
It's mainly just like essential flower oils and like citric acid.
Okay.
It's super gentle stuff. It's really, really good. It's a solid preventative. Cleanliness is the other big thing. Like
sure.
cleanliness is everything, you know, just keeping the grow super, super just sterile and very clean. But if stuff does get in, you're kind of SOL.
For sure.
Because if you want to be gentle on your stuff, if you don't want to be implementing any bad pesticides, if you don't want to be bringing in anything, you're just kind of stuck keeping it clean and sticking with the basic stuff. Neem oil, that's also a big one. We alternate between neem oil and IPM. Those
Okay,
are our main
so
2 things.
As I guess for people out there that wonder if something says, like I know on some things, if it says like pesticide used and it's neem oil, what is neem oil, and like is it harmful? Obviously it can be harmful to smoke and stuff, but what is it? What?
It's neutral. It's neutral to smoke. Anything in huge amounts can be harmful.
sure.
So
Just
you know,
smoking in general, right?
Yeah,
Just anyways.
exactly. I'm sure at some point neem could be harmful
For
if
sure.
you take a bath in the stuff or
Okay,
something.
yeah.
But it's pine seed oil. It's
Okay.
from It's from a pine tree called
For
neem
sure.
tree that they just extract the seed oil from it, and it's just really, really pungent, stinky stuff. Bugs don't like it. It actually will interrupt their reproductive cycle on like soft-bodied
For
insects
sure.
and stuff. So it doesn't necessarily kill them, but it stops them from being able to reproduce further.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, neem oil, it's pesticides is even a tricky term.
For sure.
Anything
Go
that
into
kills
that,
a
go into
pest
that,
is a
yeah.
pesticide.
Okay.
You know, you could go down a rabbit hole with that, just calling a bunch of things
I
pesticides.
mean, we're pesticides, right? If we step on a fucking spider or something. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
exactly. So most people, I hesitate to say everybody,
Okay.
because I can't just lump everybody into it.
For sure.
But most people use some sort of pesticide, and if they're saying that they don't, I would look at them a little bit sideways, because that means they're using stuff they don't want to talk about.
Okay. For
Uh,
sure.
Yeah, it's talking about pesticides is a very stigmatized thing these days. Everybody uses pesticides. If you don't, you probably have a very disgusting, buggy, gross, moldy, mildewy grow. You have to use stuff to keep these things at bay. cannabis grown, especially indoor, even outdoor, but especially indoor or in a greenhouse, it is the perfect just petri dish for everything
bugs,
to
for
grow,
sure.
for bugs, for molds,
Mold,
mildews, everything, bacteria, all of it. Like, it is a living organic thing that is always moist inside
Yes,
and at
yes,
a
for
certain
sure.
temperature. Like, you have to do stuff to keep it at bay. One of the other really big things that we use to keep, it's mainly for like molds, mildews, and bacterias, is this system called Eros.
Okay, what is Eros?
It is a air purifying system that stays in the grow rooms. It's always running. It creates an activated oxygen molecule
Okay.
that actually bonds with stuff and will deactivate and kill all different forms of molds, mildew, pathogens, all the stuff.
Hell yeah.
It's
I've-
actually a game changer.
I've
It's,
never heard of that. That's awesome.
that's one part of the grow industry that there is a lot of just BS, really, is the air purification system area. Like, a lot of people will sell UVC filters, they'll sell HEPA filters and say, this is going to scrub all the air in your grow room to ensure you never have mold in there, to ensure you never have anything like that. But just anecdotally, just running them, I have ran a lot of different UVC filters, and I have never thought any of them do anything.
Okay.
Like,
for
I think
sure.
it's just to make people feel good, honestly. Just to
sure.
say, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're filtering the air. The UVC
like-
kills something.
Yeah, it's like religion.
Yeah, pretty much. But Eros is legit.
For sure.
It's
Okay.
really good. It's dope. We even
Awesome.
notice less like algae growth on the tables where it gets light on it.
That's cool. Eros, Athena. It's like Greek names.
Eh,
Just
eh.
comment. Sorry, I'm high. So
I bet Greeks loved weed.
yeah, they had. I mean, they loved a lot of things.
They
Did you see that they found like traces of like one of the compounds or the chemicals in LSD on their pottery?
Yep.
That's crazy. So
It was, and they think they would actually get high off of the argot, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, argot.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
crazy. They were getting freaky too.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
doing their rituals.
Yeah, we don't have to go. We don't have to go. We'll stick to weed. Okay, so we went over Athena so far, all of that. What is actually, because HDR is one of the only places that you can find good Skywalker.
Yes.
Like, that is something I'm sure that you're proud of, because where else can you find Skywalker out here? Put it in the comments if you guys know anywhere else. But I don't know anywhere else, and if you can find it, I don't know if it's very good. But what is your favorite strain that you guys grow? And besides that, I'll ask after. What's your favorite strain?
That's a hard call. That's a really hard call. If it's purely from deciding by growing it, my favorite one to grow. These are hard calls. I'd probably say soap. Soap is my
okay.
favorite one to grow. It's just a pleasure
For sure.
all around. It yields ridiculously fat, grows sticky, smelly
Okay.
buds, tests high.
And
It's got it all.
is that soap with the S or with a Z? Because I know
With the
there's
S.
two. Okay, with the S.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one would be Zope, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
and those are just
totally unrelated strains.
totally unrelated.
Yep.
Like, they're not even crossed together. Okay.
Nope.
So soap, would you say it's the easiest to grow as your favorite, or
Yes, easiest, but also most productive. Like,
For
it's
sure.
it's an impressive
the
plant.
yield is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember with my friend that has a grow, he loved, like, Cap Junkie was one of them that had
Yeah.
a big yield,
Yeah.
and Original Z
Huh.
was.
I've
like,
heard great things about
Yeah.
the Z's, but I've never gotten to
Yeah.
try 'em.
Oh, if you guys can pop some Original Z, it's like, so the ice pie that you guys grow,
Yeah.
that's the most. That's the most blueberry notes that I've ever gotten
Yeah.
out of a weed. That's what I really think is,
It is.
in
Yeah, it is insane.
the ice pie. So, but if you can pop an Original Z, and it's like, It's like a bowl of fruity pebbles, dude. Like when
Ooh.
you smell it, and it's like when you smoke it, it's so good.
Yeah.
But the ice
That
pie
sounds
is
nice. We'll have to check that out.
yeah, for sure. The ice pie though, I like the ice pie. Okay, so back to that. So the soap is your favorite. What's the hardest to grow? But I know that you probably like a challenge. So what's the hardest to grow? That's
It's
currently on
it's
the
a toss
menu.
up between two, Cap Junkie or
Okay.
Skywalker.
Really?
I kind of hate Skywalker.
Really?
I love it. Don't
Okay.
get me wrong. It's really good smoke. It's super medicinal.
For sure.
Like it's really strong. But that's probably why people don't have really good Skywalker
sure.
because it is a pain in the ass to grow. Like that plant is ridiculously finicky.
I noticed that the buds get real airy. The same with Cap Junkie.
Yeah.
But so that's how I know when I go somewhere else and they're like, "This is Skywalker," and it's a dense bud. I'm like, "No, I don't even want that."
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing too with a bunch of the Skywalker in town is
Okay.
that's probably the same exact cut.
For sure.
We've had this Skywalker forever.
For sure.
Jeff and Drew got it in like 2012, something
for sure.
like
when
that.
when Skywalker was popping back.
Yeah,
then, probably.
exactly. And they paid good money for the cut. Got a
Okay.
really nice, good cut. But for a long time, we used to sell clones just out to the public.
Okay.
And right after we started doing that, we noticed a bunch of shops pop up.
Everywhere.
Yeah, all with Skywalker. And we're like, huh, that's funny. And at first we
For
were kind of
sure.
worried, and then we started trying it, and we're like, nah, we aren't worried. They can't,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they can't grow it as good. So,
For sure.
yeah. So with the Skywalker too, though, like OGs in particular are notorious for hating LEDs and rock wool.
Okay.
And in our old grow, we used to do, when we did the Beto buckets, the like Dutch bucket
Yeah.
system, we used to grow under HPS.
Okay.
And the Skywalker actually, it formed out a lot better. Like it would get a lot more dense.
Okay.
And we see it in the greenhouse now
For
too,
sure.
where we're growing outdoor, well, with the sunlight. It gets more dense, gets less of that like open foxtail-y structure. But the flavor profile and stuff is actually a little bit worse, we've noticed.
Okay.
So it's kind of frustrating. That's kind of why
For
I hate
sure.
it.
Hate pros and cons of that. Yeah.
Well, and like where it is the hardest and most finicky to grow at the indoor with our Rockwool and LEDs, it produces the best Skywalker.
For sure.
Like it's really tasty, tests
100%.
super high, and then like we've done rounds of it in the greenhouse and like it grows easier, it looks better, but it's not as tasty. It's not, yeah, it's really frustrating. It's a really frustrating strain.
Okay, so still shout out to Skywalker and HDR. If you guys can get into an HDR, grab some Skywalker.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
For sure. And
It's strong smoke.
really, really strong. It's like the sour diesel Cushmans too.
Yeah.
Is a really, really good strain that they have over here. I mean,
We can't keep that one on the shelf.
Yeah, you can't at all.
I grow so much of that and we can't keep up.
Is that something that you're putting down every time you take out? Anytime you have space, you're doing
Yeah.
sour diesel Cushmans.
Oh yeah, we are running so much sour diesel Cushmans. It's ridiculous, and it still just sells out constantly.
Well, even just to have like a diesel strain, like a sour diesel strain that's not, you see a lot like of sour diesels coming back like at lower percentages, like 17s or something like that.
Yeah.
So you guys have like a really good, the what made you, is that a seed that, is that something that you genetically you did, the sour diesel Cushmans, or is that something?
That one's it's a seed junkie drop.
Okay.
It was actually a really like cool rare seed junkie
For
drop.
sure.
He did it as like a promo. He didn't sell them. He only gave away. It was like
Okay.
20 packs of it, something
sure.
like that. And yeah, we pheno hunted it, popped all the seeds that we got out of the packs that we
Hell
were
yeah.
given, and kept the one that we like.
Is there any strains that High Desert has that you made genetically, or that you guys have made?
Nope, we don't do any breeding.
Okay, no breeding.
No. We pheno hunt. We pheno hunt almost everything. We
Okay,
rarely
for
buy
sure.
clones.
For
So
sure.
we'll do massive pheno hunts, and we try to get as unique of variants of all these strains as we can. That way, even if somebody goes somewhere else for, ice pie, ours is going to be very unique
For sure,
and very different.
100%. I'm trying to think like your guys' Cap Junkies definitely unique to hear. What's another one besides the Skywalker? Your guys' is
Louis.
Louis.
Yeah.
Literally thinking that at the same time.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
one's actually a really cool, really, really cool cut. It's
yeah.
Louis the 13th is like, so it's basically an OG phenotype. It's basically
sure.
an OG Kush
Okay.
phenotype. But a lot of people who are like huge OG Kush fanatics, like it's talked about as one of the most true representations of classic OG that you can find on the market out there. And it's really rare, super hard to find.
Okay.
We've been hoarding that cut like
Yeah,
gold.
that's good to know. That's good to know. A good thing to let people know, because a lot of people look for OG. They're like,
Yes.
where's this OG? Where's it?
Yeah.
Speaking of something that people look for, why isn't weed as skunky as it used to be?
Mostly because it got bred out of existence.
Okay.
So, like a good example, skunk number 1.
Okay.
Literally the first strain ever made, the first strain ever decided and named, this is skunk number 1.
Okay.
It used to be like skunk's ass skunk. It was violently skunky. Like you couldn't get away from the smell once you had it with
Okay.
you. And crap, I forget the dude who made it. Either way, the guy who originally made it, he actually kind of hated that skunk smell.
Okay.
And he
makes
liked
sense.
more citrusy.
For sure.
And over the years of him keeping breeding it and keeping on just improving it, he has gotten rid of all of the skunkiness, and now it's citrusy. Similar thing happened with like purple weed for a while, because
sure.
a lot of things that produce a lot of anthocyanin don't necessarily produce a lot of THC.
Okay.
So when the cannabis market opened up with testing, people started noticing that, hey, all of these perps actually test really low, and people buy based on THC.
For sure.
So then perps went out of popularity for a long time, and now
Okay.
they're starting to come back
For sure.
because, bag appeal is
For
a
sure.
lot.
100%. 100%.
And people are getting more educated, not quite buying purely on THC anymore. But yeah, that's basically what happened with skunk. Is fruity stuff got really popular, citrusy cakes, all of these things.
So many cakes.
Yep, it all got popular, and skunk just kind of went to the wayside. Same with you don't find much like puppy breath smelling stuff
For sure.
anymore.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of those really funky weird terps that are now just kind of niche.
Okay.
Not the general smoker
Yeah.
wants some tuna god that tastes like smoked tuna or something like that.
For sure, that's funny. One of the things that I hear people complain about is that I can't get skunk weed anymore, and I'm like, well, it's kind of good, because back when you did have something that was skunky, like you said, that smell sticks with you.
Oh yeah, you can put it in a jar; it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that you said, so you mentioned something about. Okay, before I get to that, that's another thing. I'm glad that people are educating themselves on THC percentages now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And figuring out terpenes and what their body likes,
Mhm.
because there's nothing worse than the customer that comes in and is specifically wants 30% or higher, and I just always want to ask them why.
Yeah,
That's all I want to say.
exactly.
Have you tried something else? What makes you think? And when you talk to someone like that, or they're gonna get mad, because most of them are old people stuck in their ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, no, I've been smoking for 80 years. I need something over 35%.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're
you sure about that?
for sure. Right? You sure about that? Okay, so you did mention something about what makes weed purple. What was that? What was that you said?
Anthocyanin.
Okay, so what is anthocyanin?
It's just the compound that makes plants purple.
Okay.
It's just a plant compound that
Okay,
makes stuff purple.
and is there a way that is that strain specific, or is there a way you can make a plant have more of
A little bit of
that,
both.
Or okay.
So there's different like variations of purple plants.
Okay.
There's what you call like true purple plants that no matter what the environment, no matter what the circumstances, it will be purple head to toe. Like stem, everything will all be purple. And then there's plants that have just the genetic tendency to produce that when they're stressed.
Okay.
So like through cold is a real common one.
For sure, that's
where
what people
you can,
say.
Yeah, you can bring out purple in strains by making them cold.
Okay.
Most strains have that. It's very rare that you'll run into one that won't pop any purple at all. That'll just stay like perfect green. Cherry AK.
Okay.
That's one that
For
stays
sure.
just super green. Will
It
never
doesn't
turn
matter
purple.
if it's cold or not. It's gonna be green.
Yep.
Okay, and so like I guess there's always a stigma too that indicas are the only purple. Like, and you're like you show them something, and you're like you show them like I've seen someone pop a Rainbow Rush
Yeah.
that's completely solid purple.
Yeah.
And it's a Rainbow Rush lean sativa in most times. So
Yeah.
and a lot of people will argue and be like, no, well, I thought indicas are only purples are indicas. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
obviously not true, right?
No, there's no. Yeah, no, there's no separation by that. And honestly, like even the separation of indica and sativa at this point should just be null and void. Like
For
it should be
sure.
done away
Okay.
with. It's so specifically the sativa naming is super arbitrary. It
Okay.
was a dude's last name.
For
It was
sure.
this like guy who everywhere he would go that he would find cannabis, he would say, "This one is cannabis var sativa,"
Okay.
and it's like it has no basis on its growth traits, no
Okay.
basis on anything. Like it's and then just indica was based on where present day India was, which is it was a huge area. Like,
Okay. For
yeah.
sure.
yeah.
Okay, that's cool to hear. So you think that cannabis should be more based off of terpene profiles, like when you're looking at it, or how would you make the, or not even just terpene profiles, but instead of saying indica and sativa, maybe just off of effects, like that it gives you, or you can't even do that because it affects everyone different, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's the hard thing with it. It is tricky to categorize it. The way I would kind of do it, and this is just speaking from like how I, categorize them to myself
For
like
sure.
in my head is it flavor weed? Is it stone weed? Is it like medicinal weed that's gonna like be really good for headache stuff
For
like
sure.
that? Or is it just trop cherry where I'm just like, no, I just want to smoke this because it tastes amazing.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, see, for me it's a little bit different. I'm already just in general high anxiety person, so
Yeah.
that's my fault. But if I smoke like let me think of one that like a sour diesel, I will have the worst anxiety.
Huh.
And it's not that I know it's definitely it's a me thing, because some people can smoke it and they have zero anxiety. It makes them feel good.
Yep.
But there's certain strains and it's probably a thing that is in my head, and which is a good reason that the industry should get away from the indica and sativa thing. Because if I see that it's a sativa, I can this has happened to me before. I will smoke it and I'm feeling good, and then I'm like, hey, what strain is this? And they tell me, and I look it up and it says sativa, and I just immediately have a panic attack.
Damn, immediate placebo.
Yeah,
like,
just changes.
wow.
So that's definitely a me thing, but
Yeah, but it's still a thing.
for sure.
Like, you
100%.
can't, even if it is just placebo, you can't discount that it's a thing. So, like
sure.
you said, it probably should be done away with that we're categorizing them like this because it
For
puts
sure.
on that perception already. Like,
Okay.
who knows? People could probably, who have said, sour diesel Kush mints makes them anxious for the longest time, could smoke it without realizing it's sour diesel Kush mints and have a
Exactly.
totally different effect.
See, and that's literally a funny thing. I've been with my friends before, and they know, and they make fun of me, You're a puss, sativa, blah blah blah. So sometimes they've literally rolled up something and told me it's something,
Yeah.
and then it was something else. Like I think it was they rolled it up and they were like, oh, it's OGZ, and I'm like, okay, I can taste it. It's sweet. But it was actually Gelinade, which is also sweet too. But that's like
Yeah.
a heavy sativa. But I did not trip out at all.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then they told me a day later, like, hey, just so you know, that was Gelinade. And I'm like, God damn. So like,
You're like, damn it, I almost want to freak out now.
yeah, right. Just start having a what is it, PTSD, tripping
Right.
out. That's hilarious. So another thing I wanted to ask you, what do you prefer as a grower? Do you prefer concentrates or stuff like that over flower, or what do you like to smoke? What are you doing?
My favorite is hash.
Okay.
I
Like
love
hash rosin or just hash?
Just straight like bubble hash.
Okay, bubble hash for sure.
I will just load an entire bowl of bubble hash and smoke on that bitch for a whole day.
It just tastes good too, right? And it
yeah.
gets you nice and stoned.
I love the stone. I like a really sedative stone. I'm also an anxious bastard, so anything that can just like calm me the hell down, I'm about it. But I'd say hash is my favorite. Flower is like the main squeeze, you
For
know.
sure.
You always
can't
gotta
ever
have
go,
flower.
You can't go wrong with some good flower. And what do you like to smoke out of?
Mostly joints. I mostly smoke just
For
big
sure.
old bombers with like a nice piece of hash in the
Hell
middle.
yeah.
But when I'm home, smoke a bong. When I'm on the road, smoke a pipe.
Okay.
I collect a bunch of nice glass, so
Cool.
yeah, always have nice shit.
I can't smoke pipes, dude. This feels a little too gay.
Now that's gonna be in my head. I'm gonna pull this big old phallic pipe out and be like, ah, shit.
You look
Why
at
is it
and you're
looking at me like
It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I prefer joints. I actually was for the longest time and lived by it.
Yeah.
Blunts, dude, just Dutch masters, just
Yeah.
complete fucking degenerate. Wondering why every time I smoked, I'm tripping out. It's because I'm smoking a fucking tobacco leaf at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you can smoke joints and you actually taste it, you feel it.
Yeah.
It's
And you still get that same like, because smoking a blunt or smoking a joint, like something about the actual
For
action
sure.
of doing it, it's really
100%.
relaxing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
nice.
dude, bongs tear me up. They get me so high, so I stay away from. I stay away
Like
from
I just
bongs.
leave those to the side.
Yeah, for sure. Like a good bong rip, dude. I remember one time. This is like a Family Guy story, dude. Like, it's 4:20. I'm at my parents' house with two of my friends, and one of them, his girlfriend, was there. And it's like super like, I want to say 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be quiet in the living room, and we're taking bong rips. And my homeboy's girlfriend takes a bong rip, and she clears the whole entire bowl, like in the whole thing. Doesn't cough, bro. Lets it out. And she's chilling, dude. She's chilling. And I'm
Everybody's
like,
just looking
Yeah,
at her
and
like,
so
how the fuck?
we're like, if you just did that, we gotta try and do that too. It's 4:20.
Oh.
So my homie tries to do it. He doesn't do it. Then my other homie, my homie Zay, dude, he tries to do it. And he starts coughing so hard. And like he's looking at me and I'm laughing. And he hits a cough, dude, and pukes on me, bro. In my face.
Oh no.
So then I immediately see puke on my smell it. It got in my mouth. I throw up right back. And then we're both throwing up in my mom's kitchen, dude. And it's like
a
Family Guy,
battle,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And we had to clean up, throw up when we were super high at the same time. It was not.
That's bad.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Memorable though.
For sure. But so I definitely have PTSD from bongs.
You just see a bong and puke flashes
For
before your
sure,
eyes.
for sure, dude. But
That's PTSD worthy. Yeah, that's
yeah, it's like it's not as bad as Vietnam flashbacks, but
close second.
pretty damn close. I can appreciate some good glass though. You said you have some. You have like a collection.
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, it's it's a hard addiction to get into because once you start, it's hard to stop.
And it's expensive if you're getting
Dude,
really good
yeah.
like intricate glass, like some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely fine art. You're paying for somebody's labors of learning how to do this craft over the years. You know, some people have a hard time because they're like, yeah, you know, the material cost for that bong is like $200. Like, why are you trying to charge me $1,500 for it?
For
And it's
sure.
like, dude, because it took this guy 30 years to learn how to even like make that stuff.
Literally. And I'm trying to, what was I gonna say? What is your favorite? I don't really know like the uses for them, but everyone's always like the perks. What's your favorite type of perk inside of glass?
I like no perk. I like just a super clean, unrestricted draw.
Okay.
If I did have to, I do have like a huge bong that has like a big old. It's just a tower perk in it.
Okay.
So pretty wide open. Damn it! Now you're making me think. No, Mothership does some really nice. My friend got a Mothership recently, and I got to smoke it. And the way they do the perk, it's like built into the downstem.
Okay.
And it's like cut with all these intricate, nice designs.
For
it's
sure.
beautiful. But it just like it chugs perfectly. Like it just perfectly breaks down the bubbles. Doesn't add too much draw.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say the Mothership perks are probably the best I've tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've the coolest ones that I've seen are like the tornado ones where it like makes it like look like a tornado in there. I don't know what the fuck that does.
Encycler.
Yeah, dude, it's probably just to make stoners be like, ooh, and buy it. But
There's function to it.
okay.
Yeah, there is function to it. Some of it is just because it looks cool. But it cools the smoke. If you get like a really good recycler, like the way it keeps churning and like always going, it's just like a perpetual like cycle of smoke going through this water with no like interruption.
For sure.
Yeah, they can smoke really smooth.
Do you like to cold water it or ice it? What do you?
Just straight sink water.
Yeah. Drink it after.
Oh yeah,
Take a
nah.
shot,
Some
take a
people go
shot.
crazy because they're all worried about the water stains.
Okay.
So they like buy like bong water.
For sure. Distilled water or something like that. That's hilarious. Another thing I was gonna ask. So do you guys deal with at the grow? Do you deal with like concentrates and stuff like that, or are you guys just strictly flower?
Not us personally, but the Outlaw Extracts pod, the extraction lab, is at our grow.
Okay.
It's at the main.
And is that like a C1D1 or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those pods out back. It's a really cool facility. They went above and beyond on buying all of the best equipment right up front.
That's what you got to do. Like you said, if you're starting, when we were smoking, you were saying, if you're gonna start a grow, like you gotta come with the best product right away.
Yeah. It's such a competitive market. If you don't, you're just not gonna get off the ground. People can get good stuff everywhere.
For sure. I've been obsessed with the way that the cold washing to make hash rosin.
Yeah.
It looks so cool in the way it comes out and like all the screens and stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
that
then they
they
get
do.
purple out of it.
For sure.
Oh.
I can literally sit there and just watch videos of that being done all day.
Something about that water just swirling.
For sure.
It's like watching like a How It's Made episode.
And then you hear about people that used to do it in washing machines.
You just buy a washing machine.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, so back in the day, they would just put it in a saw.
Pretty much. So it's like a series. Most of the time, it was like a series of different micron sieve bags that like the inside one is the biggest holes, and then the holes get progressively smaller as it goes to the outside bag. And you stuff all your weed inside of that,
and then just run it through the spin cycle, and then pull the bag out, and then you just scrape it off of the individual bags as you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, a few more different questions. What's your plans? Do you want to stay with, and I mean, you've helped build the HDR to the grow that it is. Is it? I'm not like asking if you're gonna like leave the company or anything, but is it like, do you want to stay growing? Is that what you want to like?
Oh, yeah.
Your last job to be is growing weed.
Yeah, that's my lifelong career. I'll never
Okay.
stop growing weed.
For
I'm
sure.
gonna grow weed till I die.
Hell yeah! Started at age 10, bro, and at age 100.
Yep, I'm a simple person, you know. I have a couple things I like, and growing weed just happens.
For
to
sure.
be my-
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's literally like, it's like a kid, like a plant is like a kid, like
Oh yeah.
from even down from like the male to the female stuff, and since it's 2024, even down to the hermaphrodites.
It's true. It's true. Ice pie is hermy as hell.
For sure.
It's fast.
Respect Ice Pie's pronouns, ladies and gentlemen.
No, actually, the dude who made Ice Pie, Tiki Madman, is notorious for making horrible crosses that are super unstable. So a lot of his genetics, if you stress it even in the slightest, it will herm on you immediately.
For sure. For some reason. We're back to that. So we were talking about hermaphrodites.
Yep.
No, I Spy. Sorry, that cut out for a second.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we can end it on this one. You also said you like to do art, music. What's up with that? What's the
As far as art, I mainly just love to use color pencils. Just mess around with color pencils, and that's just like for the hell of it.
For sure.
But also collecting art. I'm just really into all sorts of art in general. But music, I play guitar, play bass. Recently got a keyboard. Started learning some keyboard.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
As hobbies, or are you gonna? Do you do any gigs or anything like that?
I did for a little while with my friend Emmett.
Okay.
He is really good at writing music and
Okay.
wrote a bunch of stuff. And he was like, "Yo, you want to play bass?" I was like,
For
"Yeah,
sure.
I got it."
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Do you post on social medias or anything like that about?
Nah,
None of that?
my whole social media is just like weed and random story posts. You know, just
Hell yeah.
random stupid,
Sure.
random
Well,
stupid shit.
We definitely can link you down in the description for everyone to see that. But
Yeah, definitely.
it was awesome having you come down here today, man. Thank you for being here.
Dude, likewise. This was dope.
Yeah, it's definitely good to, like I said, just spread more knowledge and stuff about the cannabis industry. I'm an idiot, so I definitely asked good questions that the other idiots that are watching this will have answers for it now. Yeah, but if there's anything else you want to let them know or anything like that, if not, we'll.
Nah, just keep an eye out for a bunch of new bud that we're going to be bringing around. We're always strain hunting, so there'll
Yes.
be a big list of sativas. We have a tiny menu of sativas.
For
so
sure.
we have, I think it's like 9 different sativa strains coming down the pipe pretty soon.
Hell
so
yeah.
keep an eye out for that. And
Yeah.
other than that, also greenhouse bud is really getting going. The full organic line,
Okay.
that's getting perfected. So also keep an eye out on that if you like
For sure.
organic stuff. Just
I mean, your
check it
guys'
out.
organic strains are still testing at 30 plus, some of them. So
Yep.
Yeah, they got good stuff, guys. Come down to HDR, the new Bernalillo location. They also have the Pan Am in the freeway, Coors and I-40. They just opened up in Hobbs. I think you're gonna be down off of Alameda.
Alameda, Santa Fe. Yeah.
Santa Fe, yeah. So they're expanding, as is the cannabis industry. Come try some of the stuff that Daniel grows, ladies and gentlemen. You guys won't be disappointed.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
definitely.
Thank you, man.
Cool.
We'll
Thank
end
you.
it there. Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next week.